Well, I'm not going to reveal my sources. You will understand that wouldn't be appropriate, but we have very credible sources that tell us that UEFA informed, and there's a communication between UEFA and the GFA informing the GFA that 8,500-seater stadium was not necessary and that a 5,000-seater stadium would have sufficed. And indeed, that is within UEFA practice already, because there are a number of countries such as San Marino, Andorra and other countries that have stadiums that are around about the 5,000 mark or indeed less. So it's not surprising. We've also been told, again from very reliable sources, that the government have known about this from earlier on this year. So it's not the UEFA, the GFA have known about this for a number of years now, and the government have known about this earlier on this year. Now, I think that that is a matter that must be brought into the public domain because it affects very directly the debate in relation to the location of the stadium. Because look, if you can build a Category 4 stadium with a capacity of 5,000, Victoria Stadium would suffice without indeed having to relocate the Cepsa petrol station. So it's very relevant to alternatives to Europa Point.
You said in that answer that the GFA had been aware of this for a number of years. That would appear to imply that at the time they were insisting that Europa Point was the only feasible venue for the new stadium, they were being economical with the truth. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I'm not suggesting the GFA have been economical with the truth. What I'm suggesting is that they have known that a 5,000-seater stadium would have sufficed, and that is a matter that ought to be in the public domain because it affects the debate about whether Europa Point is the only alternative or the only site that could possibly house a UEFA Category 4 stadium.
But that surely means that you are accusing them of being economical with the truth, because they came out, as you know, in a debate on GBC television and argued that the only viable stadium would be at Europa Point. And if they knew what you're now suggesting that they knew, they must have been being economical with the truth.
Well, look, that's a matter for you to suggest whether they're being economical with the truth or not. I am not making any allegations against the GFA that they've lied or they're economical with the truth. What I am saying is they have known, these are the facts, and that this is a matter that ought to have been put in the public domain. It's a matter that hasn't been put in the public domain, and it's a matter that the GSD, as an opposition, has put into the public domain. Look, we have taken a very particular interest in this. We have been the ones that effectively have been the main opposition to the Europa Point stadium. We put it to the public domain, the fact that the government had incorporated this company, Europa Stadium Limited, which was the vehicle for the building of the Europa Point. That was a secret company that the government incorporated. Now we're placing these facts into the public domain. We're discharging our role as an opposition.
Well, you say that you've been the main opposition to the stadium being located at Europa Point. Of course, some might say that you came into that debate a bit late in the day because there were other people. There was an organized group that was collecting signatures and so on before, I believe, the GSD came out so strongly against it. But be that as it may, you seem to be suggesting now also that the government is deliberately putting this on the back burner because of the election coming up and it's trying to, if you like, ignore it until then.
Well, I think that it is in the government's interest to ignore it until after the general election, because if it continues with its line that this is a government-sponsored project and the government, come hell or high water, is going to be proceeding with this, then of course that is capable of causing the government quite a lot of damage, and the government isn't likely to want to make a decision prior to the general election. But if I may come back to the point that you also made, look, I'm sorry, I don't believe that is I don't agree with the way that you characterize it. The GSD has been very honest from the very beginning in our opposition to the Europa Point Stadium, and indeed we have incurred the wrath of the GFA on a number of occasions. So in the same way as you might say that there are people opposing the stadium, there are also people that are in favour of it. We have done the honest thing and we have played it completely straight with the electorate, and that is how we intend to continue with it.
And as regards your own stance in relation to this matter ahead of the elections, can you repeat your undertaking that the new stadium won't be publicly funded and that you certainly wouldn't locate it at Europa Point?
That is a cast iron guarantee by the GSD, and we will certainly not be reneging on that.